I don't care how you love. I don't care what you look like physically. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how weak you feel in a certain moment. I don't care what you choose to do in life. I don't care who you choose to be. Those are all the things that I wish I would have said a really, really long time ago. Is your father passed? Uh-huh. Because he's showing me your mom, but that means that there would also be messages for your mom who would still be living. But I just feel really strongly that I've had a father figure here the whole time. When I talk about your dad, I just start to feel like there's like this great, great sense of heartbreak. He's showing images of bonding with you when you were younger, and this seems to be important. He's also highlighting the age of 6 for me. This makes me feel like it just would have been a time when I feel like the connection between the two of you, there's something about that at a really young age that seems important to bring up. Is anything that I'm saying making sense to you right now?
Yes.
He keeps saying 666 to me. So I do feel that, again, he just keeps making me feel that I'm seeing you as a little boy. And I feel like, my God, you are a really sweet, sweet guy. There's something like highly sensitive. Do you understand that piece about you? A kind person, somebody who can sometimes be really quiet, but also, I mean, he talks about like your chuckle, your laughter, when you feel safe to bring that side of you out. But there have been times when you weren't. He just makes me feel like there would have been hardship for you, and I feel like it would have been at a younger age. It makes me feel like it's around junior high area. Do you know what I'm talking about right now? Do you understand why he would bring that up? All right.
Yes.
He said that you didn't let this harden you, and that's one of the things that he has great pride about because you do have such a big heart. With your dad, I actually get that there's something very different about him than you. And so it makes me feel when I look at you that you would have been a teacher for me as a son. Do you understand why he would be saying that?
Yes.
Because he makes me feel like I really had to learn things about my son. And right now, I also feel like this heavy heart. I feel like I also have to make apologies. I wish that from the very beginning, I would have had a better understanding of how wonderfully heart open you are. Do you understand when he would be saying that to you? Because there's something about me that just felt like I did not understand
Yeah.
like, this vast goodness and
Yeah.
loving heart that you had. And I'm so sorry because there was something in me that made me feel like I wanted to harden you a little bit more. But what I want you to know is that the reason for that is I did love you so, so much. And I always wanted to make sure that you were going to fit in with other people, is the way that I had to say it. I didn't want you to be taken advantage of. I didn't want you to come off as too soft, is the way that I have to say it. And I was afraid sometimes for you. And the thing is, I didn't even know that I was afraid for you because sometimes I judged you. Do you understand that? I looked at you and I thought, I think he needs to be different if he's going to make it, if he's going to last. But what I didn't understand about myself, because I wasn't always introspective about myself until I got to the other side, is that this was a deep fear as a father worrying for my son. Do you understand when he would say that piece? He says there's always something about you that I didn't quite understand. There was
Yes.
always something about you that I didn't want to understand because it scared me and it frightened me. There's some kind of feeling of judgment, of trying to change you. Do you understand that piece?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And there's some kind of feeling where he's like, I made you feel at times the last way a son should ever feel. And that is that I was void of pride for you, is how you felt sometimes. Now, I have to tell you right away that that is not the truth of the situation. What I have come to understand about life that I did not understand while I was here. And he brings up again, not being a very introspective person. On the other side, what I understand is that a lot of the feelings in me of discomfort about other people were directly related to a discomfort and a misunderstanding of self because I wasn't the kind of person who sat down to understand why I felt the things I felt. What I did in this life is just decided that the way that I felt was right. And I didn't even think about it that consciously. I just felt if I feel this way, I'm going to express it. And it was about that simple at certain times, especially when I felt afraid, which the thing is, I felt afraid for you. But what came out was, I'm afraid of who you are, but I'm not afraid of who you are anymore. One of the most important things that I want you to take away, if you hear nothing else right now, is that I am so proud of you. I wouldn't change a thing. And I know that that seems out of character right now because I don't think I would have said that when I was here. But I'm saying it right now because I didn't say it when I was here. I could not be more proud of you. If anything, you have to understand that you have been one of the biggest teachers in my life for me about what unconditional love is. And I could not be sorrier that I failed to give that to you while I was here.
Yeah.
That is a parent's job. and I failed miserably at the most important part. And that was saying to you, I love you no matter what. I don't care how you love. I don't care what you look like physically. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how weak you feel in a certain moment. I don't care what you choose to do in life. I don't care who you choose to be. Those are all the things that I wish I would have said a really, really long time ago because they would have allowed you to have a certain confidence. And he says there are times in life where you hold back because you get that same trigger you would have felt with him, where you think, if I am truly my entire self, how is this going to work out right now? Do you understand that piece, that this happens sometimes for you? And so you hold back a little bit because he really talks about holding back
Mhm.
and you know that you're safe with
Yes.
somebody. And that has served you very, very well. It makes complete sense because he says planet Earth is a hard place to be right now. I didn't realize, except that in his incarnated life, this guy must have had a rough time. He makes me feel that he dished out a little bit or a lot of bit of what he got. I do not think that your father received unconditional love or knew how to recognize it very well because he also had not an understanding of how to recreate it. Now, it also makes me feel that there's some kind of relationship with your mom that feels very different than the relationship that you had with your father. Do you understand this piece?
Yes.
Were your parents divorced? Do you understand some kind of separation between them or some kind of friction? Okay. He's showing me divorce papers and he makes me feel that I think that there's kindness in her, but I also see her going like this. So she's like covering her head. That makes me feel like there would have been a time for her where she felt unsafe, or perhaps that she even felt not unconditionally loved from him at the same way that maybe perhaps you did as well. And I think that you and your mother bonded together. I think your mom in some moments made you feel the love that you couldn't get from your dad. Do you understand that piece as well?
Yes.
Your dad has a lot of apologies to your mother, a lot of apologies, because I don't feel that this was a man who would have said, I'm sorry very often, or if he did, those words did not carry much meaning because his actions spoke louder than his words. Do you understand that piece?
Yes.
He says, show your mom this video because she needs to know how sorry I am. Do you understand being raised by your mother for a portion of your life on her own, or your dad
Yes.
being in and out or something? Okay. So he just gives a lot of acknowledgement for all the hard work that she put in. He says sometimes your heart broke for your mom. It's like you were an obedient kid, that you listened well, didn't want to make a fuss, is how I feel. And I also feel that you wanted to do whatever you could to help your mom because it very much scared you when she was struggling with him and other ways in life. Do you understand that piece?
Yes.
Mhm. I wasn't the right fit, and I was never gonna be the right person for her while I suffered from my demons. I could have been, had I done more of the work, but I was always supposed to be a challenge for the 2 of you. But I continue to feel this overwhelming pride in how I have to say the words, "You survived," but you continued to not shut down the most heartfelt, kind place in yourself, okay? The big thing is that your father is finding peace within who he was in this life, but I feel that his mind has been blown by a wider perspective that's provided to us when we pass about his effect on other people. Because I also feel that your father would have suffered from a lot of anger when he was here. You can understand that. And it makes me feel that this anger piece could have really made it tricky for him to get outside of himself and understand his effect on other people. And it's not that he didn't understand anything about it, but the depth to which it affected other people is quite significant. Do you understand why he would say that?
Yes.
He also gives me a reference to alcohol several times now. Do you understand anything about alcoholism for him or someone in the family? Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. He just keeps bringing up alcoholism, alcoholism, and it makes me feel as well that this is another effect on you. There's just been a lot of heartbreak. He makes me feel like there's been a lot of letting down, like people have let you down. And so when we go back to this thing of you needing to feel safe around people, this is a huge acknowledgement for you because the thing is, my God, do you have so much love to give? It's like you have love reserves for miles. Do you understand why he would say that about you? It's like it's all inside, but there's a lot of trust that needs to happen before that gets unleashed because the biggest fear for you is one of rejection. And it's really important for you to know something that you intellectually understand, but your body is still kind of trying to reprogram at this time. And that is that rejection doesn't come from something wrong about you. It comes from within the other person that you have felt it from. And for a lot of the people in your life, being able to express love and be free with it has been incredibly difficult for them based on past situations with parents and caretakers. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand why I would say that?
Mm.
There's a lot of trauma and family history for both of your parents. And for them to be able to express love freely is quite the challenge. But it's very interesting that you chose them because that's something that would come very natural to you again, as long as you feel safe and as long as you feel trust. It's unfortunate as a human who forgets the agreements you made before you came here that you have to be teachers for parents, because for you, it very much feels like you've had to take a parental role when you didn't want to, against your will. I feel like you've had to grow up fast in certain situations. And it's also felt very unfair. It's given you a lot of heartbreak, and it's made you feel a yearning to be touched, to be held, and to be loved. Do you understand this? And so this is all supposed to validate for you that what you feel is not wrong. It's not weak. It's just validating for you that it's normal and okay for you to feel that way, that you came in having to go through those things, and that any healthy human has those wants and those desires. Your father at this point wants to send free love to you that he wasn't able to express when he was here, that he's understanding a lot of things about his shortfalls as a parent. I don't know if there's an aunt or an uncle for you, but it feels to me like there's some kind of extended family who would have played the role of friend or stepped in at some point. Do you understand any aspect of this, an aunt or an uncle for you? That feels like there would have been a closeness there that steps in at some point in time. Okay.
Definitely an aunt.
I feel as if there was a set of grandparents that may have also been present during this time of trial as well. Do you understand that piece?
Yes.
But I keep going on aunt uncle level, and you're telling me aunt, and this is someone who specifically steps in, and I just feel like they recognize you for the absolute ball of love that you are, and I say that in a great way. And you understand that piece, right?
Yes.
I believe this person is still living. Do you understand that as well?
Yes.
Okay. So is this mother's side for you? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. So your mom's sister, still living as well. Uh, there's a lot of gratitude, because I also am wondering if there was friction between your dad and your aunt. I don't feel good vibes here. I don't
Yeah.
think she liked him at all. And I think that she was just like, if you can't do a good job in parenting your kid, then don't do it at all. I feel that there's a protectiveness and a deep, deep love from your aunt that is truly precious. It was like, it's almost as if you're going to say, if I'm going to go through this life and I'm going to have these experiences, you got to give me somebody who's going to make me feel the way that she makes me feel. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Your male past people, your dad and your grandfather, just come in really strong next to you right now to be like, you have so many superpowers, and I know I keep saying like your big heart and all of your love, but recognize that for a superpower, who you are is what matters. And it's been given to you that who you are doesn't always matter, but it does. And this is your father's opportunity to come in. He just makes me feel and reinforce that, so that if you're ever wondering, okay. Um, are you without a partner as well? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. At the moment.
Well, I don't know how much information you want. That's a long story, but
It's okay. It's okay. It makes me
yeah,
feel like,
yes.
yes and no. It makes me feel that there's something here where it's more of a solo road in your life right now, especially emotionally. Do you understand? And so you're having to do a lot of relying on self. And this actually brings back memories of when you were little and you felt that way. And there does feel like there's heartache and grief around the relationship that I'm talking about. Do you understand that piece as well?